Hello and welcome to this video on the history of Spotify. In this video, we'll be taking a deep dive into the origin story of one of the most popular music streaming platforms in the world. Spotify has revolutionized the way we consume music and has become a household name in the music industry. But how did it all begin? From its inception in Stockholm, Sweden to its global reach today, we'll explore the journey of Spotify and the key moments that have defined its success. Join me as we unravel the story of Spotify from its humble beginnings to becoming the music streaming giant it is today. The early years, Spotify was founded in 2006 by Daniel Ek and Martin Lorentzon in Stockholm, Sweden. The idea for Spotify came about when Ek, a successful entrepreneur, was frustrated with the limitations of music piracy and the lack of legal alternatives. He wanted to create a platform that would allow people to access music legally and easily, while also compensating artists fairly. Initially, the company struggled to get off the ground as record labels were hesitant to sign on. However, Ek and Lorentzon persevered, eventually striking deals with major record labels and launching the platform in 2008. Spotify's early years were marked by rapid growth and expansion. The platform quickly gained popularity in Sweden and other European countries, and by 2010, it had reached 1 million users. In the same year, Spotify launched its mobile app, which allowed users to access their music on the go. In 2011, Spotify made its debut in the United States, marking a major milestone for the company. The launch was met with a great deal of anticipation and excitement, as music lovers in the US had been eagerly awaiting the arrival of the platform. Despite its early success, Spotify faced criticism from some artists and record labels who argued that the company was not compensating artists fairly. However, Spotify continued to expand its user base and offerings, and by the end of 2012, it had reached more than 5 million paying subscribers. After establishing a foothold in Europe and the United States, Spotify began to focus on expanding its global reach. In 2013, the platform launched in Australia and New Zealand, followed by a launch in Canada in 2014. Spotify's user base continued to grow at an impressive rate, and by 2015, the company had reached 75 million active users and 20 million paying subscribers. To keep up with this growth, Spotify began to introduce new features and services, such as the Discover Weekly playlist, which uses machine learning to curate personalized playlists for users. In 2016, Spotify announced that it had reached 100 million active users, solidifying its position as one of the largest music streaming platforms in the world. The company also continued to expand its offerings, introducing a family plan that allowed up to 6 people to share a single account. Despite its success, Spotify faced increasing competition from other music streaming platforms, such as Apple Music and Tidal. To stay ahead of the curve, the company began to invest heavily in research and development, focusing on areas such as artificial intelligence, voice technology, and podcasting. In 2018, Spotify made its debut on the New York Stock Exchange, becoming a publicly traded company. The listing was seen as a major milestone for the company, which was valued at $26.5 billion at the time. Spotify's growth continued in the following years, with the company reaching 138 million paying subscribers and 299 million monthly active users by the end of 2020. In addition to its music offerings, Spotify had also become a major player in the podcasting world, acquiring companies such as Anchor and Gimlet Media and investing in original podcast content. Despite its success, Spotify has faced criticism and controversy over its business practices, particularly in relation to how it compensates artists for their music. The company has responded by launching new features such as Spotify for Artists, which allows musicians to access data on their fans and promote their music on the platform. Spotify has also introduced a Loud and Clear initiative, which aims to provide more transparency around how artists are paid for their music on the platform. However, Spotify's expansion has not been without its challenges. In 2020, the company faced backlash from some podcasters who accused Spotify of censorship and bias after certain episodes were removed from the platform. The company has also faced regulatory scrutiny in some countries over its business practices. In 2018, Spotify made history by becoming the first music streaming service to go public. The company's initial public offering, IPO, on the New York Stock Exchange was highly anticipated and closely watched by investors and industry analysts alike. The IPO was unique in several ways. Unlike most companies that go public, Spotify did not issue new shares or raise any new capital. Instead, the company's existing shareholders were able to sell their shares directly to the public. This approach, known as a direct listing, allowed Spotify to avoid many of the fees and regulatory requirements associated with a traditional IPO. Despite some initial concerns over the direct listing approach, Spotify's IPO was a success. The company's shares opened at $165.90, well above the reference price of $132 set by the New York Stock Exchange. By the end of the day, Spotify's market capitalization had reached $26.5 billion. The success of the IPO was seen as a major milestone for Spotify and the music streaming industry as a whole. It demonstrated that there was significant investor interest in the sector, and that streaming platforms could be profitable and sustainable businesses. Since going public, Spotify's shares have experienced some volatility, as is typical for a newly public company. However, the overall trend has been positive, with the company's market capitalization reaching as high as $50 billion in 2021. Going public has also allowed Spotify to raise additional capital, which it has used to continue expanding its offerings and investing in new technologies. The company has made several high-profile acquisitions, including podcast production companies Gimlet Media and Anchor, and has invested heavily in artificial intelligence and voice technology. In recent years, Spotify has continued to evolve and adapt to new trends and technologies in the music and podcasting industries. Here are some of the most notable developments from the past few years. The rise of podcasting. In addition to its music offerings, Spotify has become a major player in the podcasting world. The company has made several high-profile acquisitions, including podcast production companies Gimlet Media and Anchor, and has invested heavily in original podcast content. In 2020, Spotify signed a deal with Joe Rogan, one of the most popular podcasters in the world, to make his show exclusive to the platform. This move was seen as a major coup for Spotify and a sign of the company's commitment to becoming a leading podcasting platform. Expansion into new markets. While Spotify was initially focused on the United States and Europe, the company has since expanded into new markets around the world. In 2021, Spotify launched in 80 new markets, bringing its total presence to 178 countries. This move is part of Spotify's broader strategy to become a truly global platform for music and podcasting. Continued investment in technology. As a technology company, Spotify has always been committed to investing in new technologies and innovations. In recent years, the company has focused on areas such as artificial intelligence, voice technology, and machine learning. One of the most notable products to come out of these efforts is the Discover Weekly playlist, which uses machine learning to curate personalized playlists for users. Expansion of social features. In an effort to create a more social and interactive experience for users, Spotify has introduced several new features in recent years. For example, the platform now allows users to create collaborative playlists and share them with friends. It has also introduced a Friends Activity feed, which shows users what their friends are listening to in real time. Push for artist compensation reform. Spotify has faced criticism from some artists and industry figures over how it compensates musicians for their music on the platform. In response, the company has launched several initiatives aimed at increasing transparency and fairness in artist compensation. This includes the Loud and Clear initiative, which aims to provide more information on how artists are paid for their music on the platform. Spotify has come a long way since its founding in 2006. From its early days as a small startup in Sweden to its current position as one of the world's leading music and podcasting platforms, Spotify has consistently pushed the boundaries of what is possible in these industries. Its innovative technology, commitment to artist compensation reform, and expanding global reach are just a few of the factors that have contributed to its success. As Spotify continues to evolve and adapt to new trends and technologies, it is likely to remain a major force in the music and podcasting industries for years to come. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it informative and enjoyable. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please leave them in the comment section below. I always love hearing from my viewers and engaging in discussions with you. Thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.